Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to guide you through this content development process. It is my goal this year to teach you how to create engaging content. And I mean the content that's going to make you more sales. I mean the content that's not going to drain you. I mean the content that's going to actually help you see the success, however you define it, for your business. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to the channel. And below in the description box, there are several links. One of the links you're going to see is for the Content Prompt Playbook. This is a free download. It's for those of you who are starting out using ChatGPT and you're using it to help you write your marketing, but you're finding that it's coming across very generic, very like it could have been for anybody else but your business. So this prompt playbook is going to help you. It's going to give you like some actual prompts that you'll use into ChatGPT to help you make sure that the content that you're getting is actually going to help your business. So that's there. And another link that you're going to see right around that is the Marketing Strategy Collective. This is my group program where we get together every month. We just had our Zoom call this morning where we talked about laying the foundation for this month. And we talked a lot about what our challenges were last year and how we're going to be moving into this new year of 2026. So if you see the links below and you know what to do, if you want to learn more and if you want to join us in the collective. All right, today's video, we're going to talk about something that I see constantly all the time. And this is the type of stuff that happens with small business owners. These are the questions that I get when I teach a workshop. These are the things that happen when I get on a discovery call. These are the comments that I get sometimes in the Patreon group for the collective, where people are just, they're burnt out, especially when it comes to marketing. I know it's like only January. How are you burnt out already? But I don't know if it's just the whole idea of marketing. I think there's more to it. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's about this idea of not that they just hate marketing and they don't want to do it. It's because it feels like every day there's just another decision that you have to make, especially when you don't have a plan in place. Because then every morning it turns into, what am I supposed to be posting today? Oh, what is that trend that I just saw on Instagram? Do I need to follow that? Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? There's a new platform there. Do I need to do that? And then you're looking at your insights and you're like, I don't understand, why is my content not working? It just feels like there's just constant, questions. And these questions, they feel big on their own. But when you stack them together every single day, what do I post? What about this trend? What do I need to do? That's where the burnout happens. And it just kind of just drains your energy. And it makes you actually get to that place where you might look at me and go, yeah, I do hate my marketing. So today's video, let's talk about this. Because I want to move past this idea of just telling you that I'm going to, quote unquote, scare quotes, fix your content. That's not a thing. Because this episode is about something even more important. It's about that overwhelming feeling. It's about how you can get your content to help you make these decisions instead of creating more, what am I doing, where am I going, blah, 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 all of that. So let's talk through this today, because here's what I know. And I do know this. I know this from myself personally, but I also know it because I've worked with so many small business owners. The real problem here is something called reactive marketing. When we are reactive, that is when our content is just us reacting instead of being proactive. So we're reacting to trends, like we feel pressured that we have to, start doing all this stuff, or we have to be on TikTok. We don't even like being on videos. We feel pressure about that. It drives you to think about, there's maybe you found like you've downloaded a whole bunch of free stuff online and it's giving you all this stuff. But you look at it and it's like, I just don't see how that's supposed to help my business. And the algorithms, Oh, it's driven by the algorithms. Reactive marketing is one of the main culprits, is the algorithm, because we can't control it. And then one day we're posting something and getting a gazillion, amount of engagement. And the next day when we try to do the same exact thing, the algorithm has switched. So it doesn't work anymore. And we don't know. So then we're following other people's advice. We're listening to other people's posting schedules. We're doing everything that think we're supposed to be doing. And it feels productive. It sounds productive. And it feels busy. It looks busy. But underneath it all, that's chaos. And when you are reacting, you're constantly making these decisions. Is this good enough? Is this relevant right now? Why is this not performing? And when we put all this together, we get this underlying belief. And this is where I think that burnout kind of finds itself, where it lives. It lives in this idea of this sentence I'm going to share with you here. It's a subtle but powerful belief. My marketing only works if I'm paying attention to it all the time. All the time. That's exhausting. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. When we're burned out like that, it's not just because we think, it's not because we're just doing too much. It comes from the fact that every single day we're deciding too much. Every decision costs energy. What do I say? How do I say it? Where do I post? When do I show up? When you're making these kind of decisions every day, your brain doesn't get to rest. So even when you're not working, and people say, what's going on with your marketing? Why haven't you been on LinkedIn lately? Why aren't you posting on Instagram? Your immediate response is, I just don't feel creative. This whole thing is just really draining me. I just think I need a break. I need a break from content. That's what happens when these people are saying that. You've probably said it yourself. You've probably even taken a break. I know I have. And I didn't even think that that's what it was. I don't think it's that our issue is creativity. I stand by, I wholeheartedly stand by, and I've said this before, and there are videos here on this channel that can tell you that. I believe we all have the ability to be creative. We need the opportunity to tap into it. So creativity to me is not an excuse. I just think what's happening here, especially as we're heading into the first of the year and everybody's all primed and prepped and ready to implement this big massive plan that you worked on in December, I think your burnout sometimes is coming because you're overloaded with your decisions. Your brain, it just gets tired of thinking and choosing and deciding. So, I'm not here just to sit here and talk about burnout. I'm actually going to give you something to do, an action step to do, because that's what we're going to be doing this year. Every video this year, it's about me telling you something regarding your marketing. And then I'm going to give you a tool about what you can do to help you move through this, to fix it, to make it better, to help you make money, all of those things. So what is the thing that's going to help with this decision overload? What is a thing? What is a tool that you could use? And especially when it's used correctly, could change everything. It's called content buckets. Some people call it content pillars. Some people call it topics, themes, categories. I like to call them content buckets because I like to think that there's a bucket and all your stuff goes into that bucket and it's contained within that bucket. So I'm going to continue to call it that because that's what I think is what it is. Content buckets, my friend, are a decision-making tool, not just a content tool. Because I think most people, when they think about content buckets, we talk about, pick 3 to 5 topics and then just rotate them out so that you're always making sure that you're posting something. Now, that's not wrong, because I probably have said that before on this channel. I'm sure that I have. That sounds like something I would say. But it's not the complete definition of the content bucket and why this is going to be the tool that's going to help you with what we're talking about today. Content buckets are actually about pre-deciding your marketing message. A real content bucket, when it's done right, answers questions about what problems does my business solve? What conversations do I have with my customers? How does my business, work with its customers? How does it help my customers? How does it support their challenges? That's what the content bucket does. And when the content buckets are clear, something really powerful happens in your marketing. You find yourself stop asking, what should I post today? What am I doing? And start looking at those content buckets and moving them into a plan, an implementation plan, which then just says, so which decision have I already made here within my content buckets that applies to this campaign that I'm running right now? That shift alone. It's not about what am I posting today, where am I posting, what am I doing? You already know. Now what you're talking about is how is this content going to connect to my business goals, to my offers, to my sales, to my products, to my services, whatever it is that you're selling. That's the shift. It's not the actual act of the posting, the content itself. Content buckets help with that decision making because it brings you to the place that you want to be. It says, I know what's going on here, and I'm intentional about deciding on these messages. And when we are intentional about our marketing messages, we know what it looks like. Let's say, we know what we're teaching them. We know why it matters. We know what it's for. And so that's what's so important about this, the idea of a content bucket. And the idea of knowing that you are clear on the buckets of the marketing that you are sharing. So when a trend pops up for you, you don't immediately just chase it. You ask yourself, does this support one of my content buckets? Does this support an ability for me to make a decision so that when I do create my marketing campaign, it is going to help my business? If that answer is yes, then take a look at that trend, and that's the way that you can figure out a way to adapt it. If the answer is no, this is not going to help my business, this is not connected to my content buckets, at that point you have the permission to walk away and ignore it because you already know. You've made that decision. You didn't even have to try out dancing on TikTok. You already made that decision because you know in your content buckets what works and what doesn't. That, my friend, is you being intentional about your marketing. And this is how your content starts working for your business and not against you and your schedule. So think of it like that. So when your content is based, it's based on decisions as opposed to being reactive. Think about how you move through your week. When you open up your calendar, you open up your to-do list or however you work in the morning, and you calmly say, this is what we have going on today. And when you open up your laptop and you trust yourself more, you look at the work that you're doing and you know that it has a purpose. You know that it has intention. And also, when you become intentional like this with your marketing and you feel very clear about the content that you're putting out there, it helps you to stop comparing yourself to others too. Because you know that your track is different than theirs. It's not about how, we're both consultants or we both sell these things on Etsy, so if she's doing that, I have to do that. If that is not what your goals are, if that is not compatible with what your business is and what your business does and how you help your customers, that is not your content plan. Your content buckets help you create your marketing into more of a system, a content system. And it's not just a daily posting schedule. So, and this is what I always say. When I teach about content buckets, I always tell people content buckets don't limit your creativity. They actually protect it because they give you the opportunity to get creative within that bucket. And these buckets create safety, create awareness, create intention. And that way you know what it is that you're talking about, and you know that whatever platform you're using this on, where it's emails, websites, social, wherever this platform that you're using this on, you know that the goal is still there and that these buckets are connected to your business goals and connected to your offers. So when you're using these content buckets as the foundation to start planning, that's when everything starts to come together. So if you're thinking about it right now and you're going into the year, already exhausted, already exhausted with your marketing, I want you to hear this clearly. Listen to me. You don't need more ideas. And I'm not going to sit here to tell you that you need to post more. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need a more strategic, larger posting schedule. I'm here to tell you that when you start to use something like content buckets, it makes sure that you have fewer decisions to make on a daily basis. Your content buckets, when they are done intentionally, they help you decide what matters and what doesn't, and what you're no longer going to be doing with your marketing. And that, my friend, that is how you're going to end this idea of reactive marketing. And you can actually start to learn how to support your business and bring it to a kind of clarity, some clarity into your content. And I'm telling you folks that when you can pull all of this together and you see how it works, you are no longer reactive, you become proactive, you become intentional, and that's the way that you're going to grow your business in 2026 and make more money. So thank you for joining me, my friends. And if this episode is giving you some ideas about how you can start learning some new skills for your marketing, I would love it if you would hit that like button. And then do me a favor, hit the share button and share this with another business owner who could be struggling with their marketing right now. And for those of you out there who are looking for some help and looking for some support, this month in the Marketing Strategy Collective, we are talking about content buckets. And your monthly workbook is packed with tools and prompts to help you develop your content bucket strategy and all of that stuff that goes with your marketing. So if you want to see your marketing work for you, come join us inside the Marketing Strategy Collective. You get marketing workbooks, you get a Zoom call support every single month, and we are here to help you stop working in a solo bubble and work in a collaborative space. The links are below. You know what to do to learn more because you are magnificent, my friend. Let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.